Thank you, and thank you for the invitation, Taka. It's a pleasure to and an honor to show a little bit work of the part of the studio I am involved. I would like to introduce myself briefly. I'm Stefan Silvestri, graphic designer and part of a graphic design studio, Gebr.silvestri, collaboration with my brother, Adrian Silvestri, with which I am running the studio since 1994. The studio produces visual solutions in media ranging from print to online to 3D. Our project range from brands, identity, and books through product design to exhibition design and stage design. In addition to all these activities, our studio has been involved in communication around HIV and AIDS issues since the early 90s. On the subject of activism, I would like to show the various projects that we have helped to develop, collaborate, and shape with our commitment in the communication around HIV and AIDS over the past 30 years. All the projects that I show here were created in different teams and collaborations. Actually, all the projects are made by teamwork and with a great commitment of volunteers. Our studio was involved in designing graphic products for information and prevention campaigns from the beginning of the 90s, from Bureau GVO, Amsterdam, COC, Schorerstichting, later SD Schorerstichting. At the same time, my best friends, my brother, Corinna Gekeler, a political scientist, and Jasper Wiedemann, a passionate photographer, and I founded a collaboration group called Nietslikken, Don't Swallow, which was a reaction on that period, beginning of the 90s, in middle of the AIDS crisis, and the first medication was coming up with a lot of troubles and side effects, and we had an idea we have to react on that moment, so don't swallow. Nietslikken was meant to react on our own way in issues we were interested, as tolerance or safe sex, medication, aging, grief and mourning, all kind of sentiments and which was really coming out of this period of the beginning of the 90s, in middle of the AIDS crisis. With this engagement, we created attention and we started HIV and AIDS communication also for the German AIDS Aid and the AIDS Aid in Switzerland. Coming back to my person, I'm born in Switzerland, east part, countryside. I grew up in a beautiful environment, protected by the family, but very conservative. After an education in handcrafted 2 and 3-dimensional design nearby St. Gall, I was also coming out for my gay. In 1983, I decided to move to Amsterdam to start a second study as graphic designer at the Rietveld Academy, which I graduated. In this period, as student and as curious young gay man, I also discovered the nightlife in Amsterdam. I was surprised over and over about the diversity in the gay bars and gay clubs in the 80s. It was a new world. in a short time, I was meeting new friends and got involved in various happenings and movements in the gay scene, gay night scene also. So a lot of projects we worked on arose through our relationship in the scene, mostly friends or friends of friends who were active with the same interest or were themselves involved in activism with HIV AIDS or even infected with the HIV virus, which at that time was all present in the gay night life. I am living with the virus since the beginning of the 90s, and in between I'm a long-time survivor, so it calls. So I'd like to start to present a little bit more about the project. Back in the time to the outbreak of 1981 of AIDS at the new virus disease, which grows into a crisis in the gay scene in the 80s. The gay scene in Amsterdam has to react on the following disaster of infection and loss of friends. The Amsterdam gay scene and the public health institutions started to develop safe-sex projects to attend on protection. For the prevention, one of the prevention projects of the GVO, Health, Information and Education Institution, later as the Schorerstichting for Gay and Lesbian Health, we designed the logo for the safe-sex guerrilla. The safe-sex guerrilla was a boy band which organized right actions in the gay club scenes with unannounced performances with a safe-sex message. A guerrilla referring to action or activities performed in an impromptu way, often without authorization. Stars, gun, roses in the logo of the safe-sex guerrilla. Glorification of masculine sex in form of a gun or safe-sex message with a condom as a protection. For the same institution, which changed the name, which went the Schorerstichting Amsterdam, we designed 2 other logos for the HIV prevention team with stars, thumb up and condom, which speaks for itself, or with a whip, needles and condoms, communicates to get the leather and BDSM scene of the Warmoestraat of Leatherbaas in that time. For the Gay Tourist Guide, we portrait the safe-sex guerrilla as a frontier club in a Dutch painter's position. As I already mentioned, friends and I founded in 1994 the action group Nietslikken, Don't Swallow. With the use of our passion and profession, we started to react on our own way on issues we were interested as tolerance and safe sex, medication, aging, grief, and mourning. Our actions were also a deliberated counteraction to the tradition of safe sex campaign. This, in the run-up of the Europride in '94 and the height of the epidemic, we plan to realize banners on the outside of the Kennel House at the Singelgracht in Amsterdam. with the short notice, AIDS, get your tolerance tested. We were invited to take the banners from Amsterdam to Berlin a year later and mounted them on the outside of the German AIDS aid in Berlin, which also was presented by postcards. In 1998, we wanted to draw attention to the situation on unequal distribution of drugs currently available in favor of the rich countries of the West and the poor people of Africa with high infection rates. For the time during the Gay Games, we have asked the Stadschouwburg Amsterdam for permission to use the facade to hang the banner with the text, AIDS is global, treatment not. For Schorerstichting Amsterdam, we designed a poster for the sauna project in 1995. Friends and employees of the Schorerstichting asked us to design the poster with the invitation of Martin, photographed by Erwin Olaf for the sauna project. The poster is as beautiful as it is shocking. An attractive boy, Martin, in a pedestal in a pin-up pose. The spots of his caposes are clearly visible, and the text on the poster reads, "Can I seduce you into safe sex?" The poster is not only prevention, but also a means of emancipation. It is the patient in himself who speaks and sends a positive message. People living with HIV and AIDS are not considered exclude sexual partners. For almost a year, For almost a year, we designed a series of posters, every month one, with statements from a well-known person in the Amsterdam gay scene. It was called the Pin-Up Project. In a team of a few volunteers, we created this team, this project, and designed several posters. These posters were presented within an interview and show in the respective gay bar or sauna to reach the attention of the public. The idea was throughout the sexual model hero, mostly barman or bar owner, from out the scene to send a message to their audience. The messages were also created by the hero himself. For example, sex can be a party, or fear is a bad advisor, or I have AIDS, you don't have to be the next, which was, I think, the first person here in Netherlands which was on a poster himself and told that he was dying on AIDS. The Trut. The Trut is a queer disco that has been organized 100% by volunteers in between for 35 years and who and whose profit goes to the LGBTQI plus community projects worldwide. We designed in 95 a version of the logo. Trut asked us also to for the need of day tickets and annual cards. The gender should represent the equality of gays and lesbians, and at the same time play with the image of the genitals, focus on the sexuality of the visitor. The Trut also asked us to think about a visual on the entrance space when after they had to renovate and also install a kind of a sound blocking space between the disco and the neighbors. So we made space size prints on, starting with open mouth on the front door, coming into the space, seeing an erected cock with, I think, an idea of, I like to suck you, do you like to suck me? And then on the winged door, the vagina as welcome and the anus for leaving. With the safe sex message, stay safe, stay straight. For the Roxy newspaper, no, I have within the activism of Nietslikken, we got really pleasure to create new things, and it was a kind of turning on how we can use our ideas to communicate a little bit more from out the actual situation. In the Roxy magazine, we got space for an advertisement, how positive are you tonight? Get your tolerance tested. For the Drummer magazine, we made an advertisement of protection, are you man enough? Or for the AK gay magazine in Zurich, we made an advertisement, how positive are you? This work we did was all based on a certain kind of idea of questioning the actual state of things. Because the situation really pushed us to communicate, pushed us to react on the time. In Arti and Amicizia, we had a possibility to show two photo prints with no love lost on blood, real blood. We took, and it means it has all to do with the fear of this infected blood of the HIV virus. Next to the image like illusionism, questioning the actual things of the state. Between Nietslikken, we also arranged a carte blanche possibility for advertisement. As I already showed the protection or how positive are you, we had also the possibility to advertise in Magnus magazine, also with a title of problematic of the aging in between this HIV virus. Beauty is a state of mind. Or about lost. In Stille ist bei uns geblieben. In peace, he stayed with us. For the World AIDS Day, we designed a postcard with the red ribbon. For the ACA Switzerland, we designed a series of postcards. Look at you and your body, love and respect your own body and the body of your loved ones. Or a safe sex message, simple like on a condom packaging, the text, marble, stone and iron breaks, but our love doesn't. Out of respect for others. We questioning also the actual state, like end of therapy, people who didn't react anymore on the therapy, on the medication. Questioning about medication, yes, no, hope, resistance. A farewell of remembering for people we lost, mourned and let go, recycle of the body and soul. For the Max magazine in Hamburg, they published a special edition about AIDS. We had the possibility to design 2 double pages. We showed our own faces and asked the reader the question, which of these people is positive? 9 years later, we used the same photos for a new publication in the Blickpunkt AIDS for the German AIDS Aid. For this edition, we combined the images which we were 10 years older with the current portraits and with the HIV test results of each person. After the introduction of the combi therapy in 1996, the discussion about the medication with the many side effects or use of the condoms for safer sex, the institution of protection like DHA, Deutsche Aids Hilfe, or as it is Schorerstichting, campaigned the agony of choice. This was a period people which living with the infection had to make their own choices. What do you choose? Same subject. During the coming years, the effects and physical but also psychological changes in the people who swallowed the medication became clearer. A series of portraits of people living with HIV and their own problems with living with the virus. Subject and empowering doubts, changes, disability or challenges are shown in a simple, direct design with a personal slogan on each model. Again, as in all our campaign, we work with people from our own community and let them hear their voice. Like, I am who I am. I want more from my life. I can sometimes do more, sometimes less. I also see changes. To change the perspective of the HIV from illness and bad references to the beginning of the AIDS crisis, to a normal living with HIV and the way of live positive with the virus, we initiate the magazine project Hello Gorgeous. This changement of expectation has a lot to do with the better medication. The living with HIV was no longer a heavy load. A whole team of editors, writers, photographers, and designers who are all involved in living with HIV and who volunteer to work on this magazine project, Hello Gorgeous, Living Positive with HIV. The idea was to produce and publish a printed, glossy magazine, easily accessible, colorful, inviting to read, diverse in content and text, overall beautiful photography, and a good-looking design. The magazine from and for and with people living with HIV. First edition. Topic numbers like refugees, like taboo, like stigma, like youth, like PrEP. Also with content like lifestyle, travel, sport, body awareness, society, sex, fashion, like just a common magazine. Special issue for the World AIDS Conference 2018, Hello Gorgeous, Hello World, and a special edition for Suriname people, Hello Gorgeous, Hello Gudu. These are the covers from 2012 until 2020. With all the positive reactions and responses on the Hello Gorgeous projects, we discovered also the lack of in the living with HIV. People were living healthy lives, but still encounter stigma and self-stigma. In collaboration with the Dutch HIV Association and the Hello Gorgeous, we like to tackle the stigma, to empower living with HIV. We want to refute mysteries. Based on our own principles, we worked also in this campaign with stakeholders from out the community and their own voices to empower themselves and others with their own messages. Like, I have HIV and 2 beautiful children. And I have HIV and love a woman. Or I have HIV and God loves me too. This campaign we spread out in posters, in a website, in a pillar action in the city, like this. The website with the story telling from out the people. This is the front page of the website. So we see also 5 people laughing into the camera and connected us with their experience, but also someone who is covered, which also showed us not only, it's not the only way to free yourself. There are also other problems to have respect on the people can't do this step to open.
Mijn naam is Eliane Bex Ninina Hatswe. Ik kom uit Burundi en ik ben 38 jaar oud.
Presentation of the people and their story, we also produce small films which are connected on the website. People telling their story from the support of the neighbors, of the friends, and how they're living now in the today.
Zij is zo aardig tegen mij. We zijn oud samen, we gaan sporten samen. Toch nog voor iets in mijn hart. Iets klopt niet. Waarom kan ik niet haar vertellen? Toen ineens we waren aan het discussiëren, toen heb ik ga gewoon vertellen.
Ik denk wel dat het voor jou ook een hele opluchting is.
Je hebt geen idee hoe.
For the World AIDS Conference in Durban in South Africa 2016, we designed a bottom with the slogan "Bye Bye Stigma, Hello Gorgeous." This bottom should present the foundation Hello Gorgeous on their activities. For example, our magazine, which is in Dutch and so not so suitable for the international audience. In the first sense, without realizing the content of the simple meaning Hello Gorgeous, which everyone understood, and the message of Bye Bye Stigma, which was the most discussed issue on the conference, we hit the goal and people were proud to wear the bottom. For the World AIDS Conference in Amsterdam, which was for us a hometown, Hello Gorgeous and the Bye Bye Stigma tuned back to the goal, this time as a live experience. In an overseas container, we installed with three different rooms. A doctor consultation room to realize the stigma by getting positive results, a dark space to experience the stigma, and a space to free yourself from the stigma. For the same event, for the same World AIDS Conference, Hello Gorgeous, and the HIV Association launched a Dutch welcome campaign for the international crowd. For this campaign, we asked the fashion artist Bas Kosters for an art direction. This because the fashion of Bas Kosters has a lot of Dutch traditional references, which the people living with HIV community from different ethnics and cultural groups, we decided on 3 focuses within the HIV community: diversity, subculture, and family. Each of these topics was expressed in typically Dutch Bas Kosters costumes. All of this results in a colorful and clownish and cheerfulness and happiness. Expressions of the, or images of the presentations. Animated posters. Of the different diversity, family, and subculture. Two years ago, in 2019, again, friends asked me for this time from Zurich to help by a project about the history of HIV and AIDS in a local Zurich and the national Switzerland. The idea was realized in an exhibition in the Schädhalle of the Red Factory in Zurich. In November 2019, we opened the exhibition with different ways of telling the story of crisis in form of a mix of art and art historical information. Problem solved, stories of a virus, entrance situation with headlines of newspapers from all over the 30 years of publication around HIV and AIDS in newspapers. Okay. A three-dimensional graphical installation which should show us the infection in between a year, or the difference in between a year in Switzerland. From 450 infections in 2017 to 425 infections in 2018. The historical panels of storytelling about the crisis and the communication of the city, drugs, AIDS politic in Switzerland. Oral history on screens and big medication boxes as seats, pills as sofas, and finally a publication, Problem Solved, Stories about the Virus. Thank you, Taka Taka. Thank you for your patience and audience.